Luiz Guzman is the secret weapon behind HBO's new comedy series, How to Make It in America. He is its Alec Baldwin, you know, Jack Donaghy on 30 Rock. Or, in an even more apt comparison, he is its Jeremy Piven, who plays Ari Gold in Entourage. Cousin Rene, the somewhat reformed Dominican gangsta Guzman plays, isn't in every scene of this new show from Entourage creator Mark Wahlberg. But like Piven, whenever he's in a scene, he commands your attention. There is no color as bright, no actor as bold. Even when he's quiet in a rare moment, all eyes and ears are on him. Need proof? Listen to this audio from the third episode of HBO's How to Make It in America.
I want to thank you guys for taking the time to see me today. I know in the past we've had our differences, right? I know in my younger wild days I might have caused some problems for your businesses. For that, I'm truly sorry. Look, like most of you, I grew up without a father. I didn't have nobody teach me right from wrong. You know, they always told us that America was the land of opportunity. You know, but around my way, it seems that the only opportunity there was to either get shot or arrested. Right? And oye, there's a new thing happening now. A black man has been elected president. There's a Puerto Rican chick in the Supreme Court. And I, like them, I want to make a huge change for our people. It's called Rasta Monster. No. This is for real. Mira, oye, momento, right? I'm here asking for your grassroots support on this. I need Rasta Monster in your barbershops, in your livery cabs, in your strip joints. But most of all, I need that middle shelf in your bodegas.
Just to be clear, what's in it for us?
How does 3% of the net sound?
5% sounds better.
Papa, come on, work with me here.
4.5.
4.25.
Good.
Rasta Monster. Tastes like fruit punch, pero spicy.
If you haven't seen the show, or if you caught the first episode and didn't quite get hooked, go back and pick up the action with episode 2, either online or on HBO On Demand. I've seen the first 4, and it's uplifting, compelling TV with people you will root for, from its young male leads, Bryan Greenberg and Victor Rasuk, to a supporting cast of very familiar faces, such as Lake Bell, who plays, somewhat ironically, since I already mentioned him, Alec Baldwin's young wife in It's Complicated, Eddie Kaye Thomas, who got busy with Stifler's mom in the American Pie movies, Martha Plimpton, and rapper Kid Cudi. Not sure you recognize Guzman's name? Trust me, you know his face, and we'll get into that in a moment. Luiz, welcome to Mr. Media.
Hey, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, bro. You're pretty eloquent. I dig that.
Well, look who I'm talking to, you know.
Hey.
Man's got a rise.
I want to say thanks for having me on, man. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Now, you know, before we even talk about the show, and before I knew that you'd be coming on, I read something interesting about you in the March 2010 issue of Esquire. I suspect you know what I'm going to mention here. In its annual Alternative Oscar Awards, the magazine wrote, "Biggest waste of talent, Luiz Guzman in The Taking of Pelham 123. We could be wrong, but did Guzman have any lines in this movie? Travesty. Were they right?"
They were close to it, yeah. You know, I don't know, man. Things happen. They change the script or whatever it is, the process is. But you know what? I did a lot of what they call that. My acting in there was all about expression, not the words. The words were the expression. Well, my expressions were my words, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's like being in a situation that you're not too crazy to be in. So it's like less is more.
Okay. But did you have lines that were cut?
Oh no. I mean, I had lines, But like I said, you know, the situation, it was about that writer character, the John Travolta character. I mean, you know, he was the guy who was running that train, and I was just there along for the ride, pretty much. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I had lines. It just, you know what it is? I mean, and I appreciate it, you know, because a lot of my fans have said, hey, man, I wish, you know, you would have been in the whole movie and all this and all that, you know, because, I mean, if you look at the original movie, that guy part that I played, you know, he's from beginning to end. And it's this whole different set of circumstances. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's what I was playing with right there. But don't get me wrong, I was grateful to be in the movie. I thought it was a hot movie.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking that, you know, when a director has someone like you in the film, they're not bringing you in for set dressing. They're bringing you in for that face, that expression, that emotion that can come on so quickly and fade so quickly. So I thought it was interesting that they you know, were aware enough of you to think, hey, they didn't use enough of him in this movie.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'll be honest with you, I'm one of those guys that I guess not every role is going to be that way, you know, and you kind of make the best with the time that you have in the story. You know, I mean, I've been in movies early on in my career that I had 2 or 3 lines, but you know what? They were pretty memorable. Oh yeah. You know, so I kind of, like I said, I get the most out of my buck for whatever it is that I do. You know, and every situation is different. I'm just always grateful to be working, and you know, I thought it was a really good quality project, and I was really proud of it.
Well, let's talk about this project, How to Make It in America. I describe you in the introduction as playing sort of the Ari Gold or Jack Donaghy role. Are you comfortable with that? Is that a fair fit?
Yeah, because we are all kind of you know, we're all kind of hustlers in one way or another, you know. And you know, Rene is this cat that he wants to do right because, you know, he just going down that wrong path ain't working out, and you know, he wants to do his hustle differently and have a much better outcome than, you know, having to go behind bars or back to jail and stuff. So, but I thought that was a fair description you gave. Sure.
It's interesting because when we first meet you in the pilot, in the first episode, you know, there's a sense that is this the Dominican Tony Soprano? And then and there may still be an element of that as the episodes go on, but we also find that just like the 2 younger guys, and pretty much everybody in the cast, yeah, I mean, you're trying to make it. You're in a different position in your career, but you're still trying to make it. It seems like it's a very rich character that you've been given here.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm really proud of it because, number one, Rene is this guy who comes from the Lower East Side of Manhattan. I grew up on the Lower East Side of Manhattan.
Oh.
I grew up with these kind of guys, you know. So it's really dear and close to my heart, you know. And it's a fun character for me. You know, I just love the premise of this guy, and you know, really, I think like just like Cam and Ben on the show, he's trying to make it too. You know, because like I said, I guess he's had his hard knocks and stuff, and you know, he's a really colorful character, and I think a lot of people could relate to him because a lot of people say, you know, I knew a guy like that, you know, or I've dealt with a guy like that, and he's not your common kind of guy, but at the same time he is, if you know what I mean.
Right. And by the way, just so we all know, are you sipping on Rasta Monster now while we're talking, or you know, have you had to set that aside?
Dude, man, I put in an order 2 weeks ago, and it still hasn't got here.
What is in that can that you're drinking? What is that stuff?
Fruit punch. but it has a nice kick to it.
Is it?
I don't even know what's in that stuff, man. We just make it up.
No, but I mean, when they hand you a can and you're sipping, is there something actually in that?
Yeah, like ginger ale or something like that.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, we haven't come up yet with the ingredients for Rasta Monster.
It's just fruit punch that's spicy, I think is the way you describe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk about how Rene is from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, as you were. Was this character at all fitted to you, or were you fitted to it when it came up?
I think it's. I think very possibly it can go either way. When they describe the guy to me, I kind of always make a reference to my life and people that I've come across and people that I've met. And, when I just took it on, man, it's like giving me a canvas, and it's blank, and say, paint something, and that's what I come up with as far as this guy goes. And like I said, my reference is my life to this character, and that's pretty much what I've done with him, And, just the fact that it happens to be a guy from the Lower East Side like I am, it makes it much easier to paint, and it's like I said, it's fun, it's fun, because it's like, this is like one of those situations you could jump off a plane without a parachute, and you're going to be okay because you're going to land, as quirky as that might sound, but, just having the confidence in there.
I think I mentioned in the beginning that one of the things that struck me is that the first episode really has not turned out to be representative of the episodes that followed it. And I know you've probably been shooting a lot. I don't know if you actually have had time to watch it as its its final production. But was there a conscious shift among the producers of the show after that first episode?
Well, you got to understand, the first episode was the pilot.
Right.
And we shot that in 2008.
Oh.
And we didn't finish the rest of the show till we picked up the 7 other episodes up in September 2009 and finished right after Thanksgiving of 2009. So they had like just about almost a whole year to just develop all this stuff and fill in the blanks, so to speak.
I see. Yeah. I think the time was well spent because the first episode seems heavily stylized and more emphasis on the look and the jump cuts, that kind of thing. But the following episodes are far more focused on character and the story, and that really is what I think will draw people in. Well,
I think this show really pays a tribute to just people, just trying to make it, the relationships. The show is really well written. At the same time, it's pretty loose. And you have a great combination of those things going. Had a great director of photography, great directors working with us, and the writers and the performances, and you just kind of throw that into a pot and mix it up, and man, you got something pretty sweet going on.
Absolutely. My wife noted that this is your third HBO series. That, of course, you did. You had a role in Oz, and then you were in the season of John from Cincinnati. Is this different from those, or the same in any way?
I'll be honest, every experience is different. Oz, you're kind of in a maximum security joint, hanging out with nothing but guys.
Yeah.
John from Cincinnati, you're kind of trying to figure it out as you go. and then this is kind of more concise. It's a lot more fun. It's New York, man. It shows the character. For me, How to Make It America is pretty much the landscape that is New York, and in that way, it's just totally different. Like I said, for me, every experience is different, such as this.
Have you figured out yet what John from Cincinnati was about? Because, I mean, I watched every episode, and I have no idea.
No, I'll be honest with you. No. I tell you what, it was an experience. Mm-hmm. It was one of those situations that, you learn as you go, and some things you quite never come up with an answer. It's kind of open-ended, which is not a good answer. but, I just thought it was pretty cool. It was unique. It was different. I never worked on a show like that. And, even there, we had a great cast of people, and, it is what it is, so.
Interesting to have a show where you had to come back every week in the hopes that you'd find out what was going on, but there was enough to it that you really wanted to know, at least those of us who got hooked on it, really wanted to know what was going on. And even if it was like Twin Peaks where you never quite figured it out, it was still entertaining to watch.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because like I said, it kept you like guessing, you had to really think, okay, what is going on here? And just trying to put all those things together sometimes makes for good TV. I mean, as opposed to, okay, all the answers are there for you. So I'm just, like I said, I'm grateful. I think, David Milch in his own right is a genius. And it was quite different, unique kind of show.
Now, you've had such a variety of roles. I mean, I think probably recognized primarily for playing heavies and dramas, but you've also done comedies. You did 2 with Jim Carrey. You did Yes Man and Lemony Snicket. Do you have a preference? Is there one that you'd rather do more of in the future?
Well, I just love getting good material, whether it's funny, whether it's dramatic. That's what's really important to me. I can, comedy, I love comedy because I'm very comedic. Drama, I love drama because as my teenage daughter would say, "Oh, Dad, you're such a drama queen." So I guess coming from her, I guess I could do drama. Yeah. But it comes down to the material, and that's what's really important to me.
And I got to ask you about material, and I'll apologize in advance for even bringing this up, but tell me about the sitcom, Luiz. Theoretically, it would seem like something like that would be tailor-made for you. Why do you think it didn't work, and at what point did you know that it was not going to work?
I think what happened is that, I'll be real frank about it, I think that they went in a different direction that I wanted to go in. I wanted to do really smart comedy. I didn't want to do a slapstick, stupid kind of comedy, which I felt that's the direction it was taking.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, man. I was so grateful to do that show, but I don't think it ever lived up to its real potential because, again, for me, the writing wasn't what I wanted it to be. I wanted to do a really smart comedy. I wanted people to really invite me into their living room to say, that's my kind of guy. I did not want to do a show that was based solely for a Latin audience. I wanted to be that common guy that so many different people can relate to. That's kind of what happened, When they told me the show was canceled, I was kind of relieved by it because, I thought it just had a whole lot more potential than what I was given, And I thought I had an exceptional cast. I think for the business, for entertainment business, I had probably the most diverse cast in the business at that time. And that was, really important to me. But like I said, when it came down to the writing and some of the ideas and stuff like that, it just didn't flow. That's not the guy that I wanted to be. I didn't want to look and seem like this dumb Latino. You
Right.
know, and those things are really important to me because, like I said, you know, material is so important. I love doing comedy, but I also love doing smart comedy. And I don't take anything away from the writers that I work with on the show. It's just like, you know, when two things don't mesh together, you know, it's you know, you can't put size 12 tires on a car that takes size 16.
Right.
You know, you can only go so far till you realize this is not working.
Yeah.
You know, but I was grateful for the opportunity, and I was grateful to represent. I only wish that it would have been something that was a whole lot smarter, you know, because you don't have, you know, in my eyes and stuff, I don't have to do slapstick to be funny. You know, I mean, I proved that in movies like Traffic, you
right.
know, which is, you know, I proved that in movies like Boogie Nights, I proved that in movies like The Limey. You know, those were really good movies, and just my character and their demeanors and how I just went about it made it funny. It didn't, you know, I didn't have to push the joke because that's not what it was about. It was about the situation, you know, and how I embrace the situation and how the situation embraces me, you know, and people look at it and say, you know, that's real and that's real funny, you know.
Right. Right.
So, yeah.
Well,
are you okay with that answer? Are you okay with that?
No, let's go back and start over. No, yeah, of course. I was going to say that it seems like maybe How to Make It in America is maybe very well suited to you in that you're going to have that opportunity to be both the drama queen that your daughter sees, and I think that clip that we played at the top of the show is evidence of that. And then also, you know, there's comedy to be played.
Yeah.
There's the scene, you know, there's a scene, I don't want to give too much away, but there's a scene where you confront the, I guess the manufacturers of Rasta Monster that, you know, is both menacing and hysterical.
Yeah.
So, you know, it kind of plays to that. I wanted to ask you before we run out of time about some of the cast members. So far, most of your scenes have been played with Bryan, Greenberg, and Victor Rasuk. Tell me about those guys. They're young guys, but they're not brand new to the screen.
No, I mean, you know, they've been around. They're great guys. They have a great chemistry that they do together. I love being around them. They love being around me. You know, they look up to me. I look down to them. It works just fine.
Well said, my friend. Well said.
No, they're really great. You know, I mean, they show up, man. They show up with such a great energy. You know, and what I like about them is, as far as those characters go, they're pretty raw. You know, and I think being raw like that makes it so much more fun because, you know, you don't have to go through, you know, this whole thing that's so well defined. You know, it's like you're searching for it, and part of the search is what makes it so much fun and keeps it so much raw and keeps it so fresh.
Mm-hmm. And in the episodes to come, will you eventually interact with other members of the cast, or will you have your own kind of world going on there?
I think it's going to be my world, but a little bit of everything. And yeah, no, I mean you'll see more of other people. That's for sure.
My suspicion, from what I've seen so far, would be that we'll see you obviously developing the Rasta Monster. And for people who don't know, it seems to be kind of an energy drink that you're pushing and have the rights to. But also, I'm going to guess that the reason for having you involved with Ben and Cam, excuse me, is that there'll have to be some storyline where you see them succeeding and want a piece of what they're into.
We haven't gotten that far yet, but that's a good idea.
Happy to.
Who knows? Who knows? I might succeed ahead of them, and they, you know, but I might get a chance to own them. You know,
I hadn't thought about that.
We'll see.
I guess they'll be popping up every week with the money that they owe you. So
asking for an allowance. You know. Possibly.
Well, let me ask you this before we let you go. All the movies, all the TV shows you've done, what piece of work would you most like to be remembered for when the time comes?
I think that I have so many. I don't think there's one I could say. I could give you a handful. I could say Boogie Nights. I could say Q&A. I could say Traffic. I could say The Count of Monte Cristo. I can say right now How to Make It in America. I could say, I guess my ultimate thing is I just want to be remembered for just being a damn good actor that showed up and did his thing.
That's probably couldn't ask for anything better to be said than that, I guess. Folks, you can watch How to Make It in America, the episodes that you miss on HBO.com, and new episodes airing every week on HBO. Luiz, can people find you on, do you do any of the Twitter or Facebook, any of that kind of thing?
I do have a Facebook, and it's a beautiful black and white picture of me. They can hit me up on that, Luiz Guzman at Facebook. And you know what? I'll hit you up with it, and, we can share links.
Sounds good. Sounds very good.
Okay.
Well, listen, it was I'm sorry?
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it was a pleasure to talk to you today. I appreciate your time, and thanks so much for being on Mr. Media with us. Thank you, Mr. Media, and thanks so much, Bob. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the show, man. It's a great show. We will. Good luck to you. Thanks for your time. Thank you. All right. And, folks, for more interviews with your favorite TV and film stars, you can surf over to our main website, www.mrmedia.com. That's mrmedia.com. That's where you can listen to my earlier conversations with Kirk Douglas, Billy Bob Thornton, Nathan Fillion, Christian Slater, Ted Ramey, Ali Sheedy, and many more. And please take advantage of this great offer for Mr. Media Radio listeners. Go to www.audiblepodcast.com/mrmedia to get a free audiobook download of your choice, and you can choose from 75,000 books when you sign up today. Again, that's www.audiblepodcast.com/mrmedia for your free audiobook. Subscribe to Mr. Media on iTunes, and you'll never miss a show. Just search Mr. Media Interviews from within iTunes and subscribe for free. You can also listen with a piece of string and a tin can in many locations. If you've got an idea for a guest, email me directly at bob@andelman.com. You can also follow me on Facebook or on Twitter, www.twitter.com/Andelman or facebook.com/Andelman. Thank you so much for joining us today. I always appreciate when you give up a little piece of your day and come spend it with us.